Hello, here we go. The second part of the second episode of the CP7 again, and then this time I'm going to talk about the spatial distribution. And it is also the very general concept. It should be over going through for you for previous chapter. For example, chapter 5, chapter 1, talking about the plate, distribution of the earthquake, so on and so forth, blah blah blah. And but I would like to make a final reminder to you because it is already CP7. If you still cannot grab it, this is quite a trouble situation. Okay, so please grab it. And for here, if you can see this kind of wordings, for example, the spatial distribution or the distribution pattern of specific map or world map. Okay, so you have to describe it. Okay, but how to describe it? First of all, there are several ways for you to memorize it, as I've gone through with you before. First of all, maybe you have to tell what is the continent. So accordingly, we have United States. Not United States, not the continent. It should be the country, and for sure I have to talk about it later. Country. Okay. So accordingly, we can find which is in the America, and then specifically in United States, and then for here you can see there are some there are some concentration in here. For example, the eastern part of the Southern American, and then what's more, you have to tell not just the continent and then the country, you have to also tell me the direction. Okay, when it is talking about certain, it's not quite specific to talk about specific continent or specific country. If it's not enough, we have to talk about direction too. For example, the Brazil, if you just talk about the Brazil is very large, right here, and then you have to be more specified on telling me, oh, it is the east of the Brazil. Okay, and how about here? Here it should be Europe, and then also the East Asia. And actually, you can tell me more about the country as well. Okay, for example, right here it should be Russia, and you can heard for recently the news telling that the glacier is melting in the South Antarctica and also North Pole, and then they are having a quite a serious problem of glacier melting. For example, in Canada, in Russia, some of the glacier is melting and then breaking from the majority ice cap, not glacier. Sorry, it should be ice cap. Okay, ice cap. All the glacier I have told before should be ice cap. Sorry about that. Okay, and then they are leaving from the ice cap. So accordingly, Russia and then also Canada, there's a lot of melting ice. Okay, melting ice cap, and then accordingly you can specify Russia, and then the North Asia is having a lot of temperature anomalies. But what is temperature anomalies? It's quite a funny word because we have the past paper have go through sometimes already. Okay, what is abnormalities? Which is talking about apart from the normal, apart from the average, the deviation. Okay, so how is this different from the average? More than 5 degrees Celsius, so on and so forth. Right now, the recent news is talking about the Antarctica is having 20.8 degrees Celsius, which is higher than Hong Kong temperature nowadays. Okay, at the same days. Okay, so it's quite a funny figure, but it's not funny at all. Actually, it's a warning. But not for here, it is not just talking about describe. Be careful about the wordings again. Okay, sometimes if you are very not good in wordings, you can refer to this method. When you go to the examination venue, please bring along 2 highlight pen, at least one highlight pen for the subject, and then another one will be for the question word. Okay, because in my peers marking of some of your students tests or exam or homework, blah blah blah, you are always just focusing on describe, but just forget the word of explain. So it's quite a tragedy because you know how to answer mostly, at least. If you know what is described, at least you can grab 1 or 2 marks for the explanation. So accordingly, I think you have to be more detail-minded, be more careful, good eyesight to grab what is the exact requirement of the question. Okay, so accordingly, you can see most of the temperature anomalies is in the urban area. Okay, and then most of them are in the high latitude. Why? Because the greenhouse effect is more dominant right here, right there. Okay, so let's check out the answer. Using this method, first of all, continent and then country and then the direction mostly can grab the mark. For example, right now is the marking scheme of that question of the question I'm talking about. You can see North Hemisphere 北半球或者係其實 OK mid or high latitude region. OK, tell me what, especially when we are having the whole world map. OK, if it's a whole world map, OK, please tell me low latitude, high latitude, or mid latitude. Give me some countries or even some generalization. Why are there anomalies? Industrialization, electronic consumption, fossil fuel will be more large amount of carbon dioxide, absorbing more long-wave radiation, intensifying global greenhouse effect. This is the first reminder. Okay, this 6 point, please bear in mind. Every year, past paper question will be talking about this, and however, this video's focus, the focus of this video is not in this series of concept, and I just want to talk about the spatial distribution, but this is a really reminder for the for this series of concept. Please bear in mind. Okay, and then I will have another episode to talking about this specifically. Okay, so that is for the spatial distribution. Thank you.